At the Ubisoft Forward event today, an update on the Division 2's Year 6 was squeezed into the post-show show. Yes, Division 2 doesn't even make it into the main event anymore. There were 4 key things announced. Firstly, players who have not bought Warlords of New York will now be able to level their characters to level 40 and access all endgame. In addition, Seasons 2.0 was announced, which introduces seasonal characters, which you level from 1 to 40, albeit with an accelerated leveling experience. Seasonal modifiers will be in play to both your agent and enemies, making this like a season-long global event. Experience earned and gear collected will be available to your other characters at the end of the season. Thirdly, manhunts as we know them have now gone. Sort of. As now, rather than having a monthly manhunt with half a dozen events to complete, we will now have a weekly scout with a few events. And finally, a new difficulty, Master, is being added into the game for climax missions. And no, this is not some BDSM fantasy. Now, many of my fellow Division 2 content creators are quite enthusiastic about these changes, but clearly I missed the Kool-Aid on this one. Let's be honest with each other. Year 5 and Year 6 are all about getting more players into the game ahead of the Division 3, and sadly, existing players have largely been ignored. Year 5 was the year of Project Resolve, which buffed weapons and brand sets, cutting down the need for new players to farm for gear and reduced the cost of optimization and expertise, making much of the hard work of existing players redundant. Then there are these Year 6 changes. Very disingenuously, we were told that removing the Warlords of New York restrictions on level cap and access to the endgame would benefit everyone, when clearly it is aimed at making the game more accessible and cheaper to new players. With seasonal characters, Massive have completely eliminated the gap between new players and existing players with max expertise and their lovingly crafted builds. And there is a key paragraph in the notes on their website that I think really explains what they are trying to do here. This is a roadmap for getting new players into the game, making it as easy and as quick as possible for them to get to level 40. There is nothing here for existing players. And the new Master difficulty is only available for the final mission of the Manhunt each season, so new agents and existing agents will be on a level playing field as far as this is concerned. Now, of course, the one thing that would help take the sting out of this would be new content, which we aren't getting. If anything, we are now potentially getting less content. It was noticeable that the weekly scouts were explained as having just a few events, and were quite clearly in very small areas of the map, whereas before we had global events and leagues nearly every week between the manhunts. But surely we aren't losing the apparel events as well? Well, no, because the final thing announced was a revamp of player expressions, which I'm sure will come with some outfits, skins, and emotes to be purchased. If there was pressure on the Brooklyn DLC to deliver new replayable content before this has now increased dramatically. I get that the massive team working on the game is pretty slim now, but it's time to focus on the entire player base before that player base gives up on the game that we all love. Let me know what you think about Year 6 in the comments below.